Start your engine!
Tuning up your work week. It's MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse and brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, here are two guys that just can't part with their combs. It's Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Welcome to MRN Motorsports Monday. Woody Kane alongside Joey Meyer. We're color coordinated with our shirts. We have matching heads. I wore glasses so you could tell us apart. But a big weekend at Kansas Speedway. Some odd weather, but ultimately it didn't interfere with the racing on the track. Good crowds all weekend long, and Kevin Harvick does it again.
Yep.
5 out of 12.
Some people are going to consider it addictive if I keep playing with my Joey in public.
Yeah, you do.
And,
yeah,
and
that's,
I get to do
you
it.
You could get
in
arrested
fact,
for that in
I'm
some
going to
states.
take him home and play with him in the shower.
No,
give him a little bath.
He's so difficult to dry out. You have to take him for a spin in the
Five times you've gotten a victory, and you get to go buy a Plan B sales car. You get to take all. They're going to start giving away this whole Outback franchise.
It does seem like every time Kevin wins, people get free stuff, right?
Yes,
I mean,
he gets a lot of free stuff.
It's Bloomin' Monday at Outback Steakhouse. You can go by and tell him Kevin Harvick pulled off another top 10. Give me that free Bloomin' Onion. Also, you have the Joey menu as well. That's for kids, not for Joey Meyer as well.
It's low budget, low diet.
And
Joey
a lot
menu
is going on, indeed. So check it out at Outback Steakhouse. And don't forget as well, Kevin Harvick, we do have that car, the die-cast of his winning car at Kansas, as well as all the race winning and other die-casts. They're available at planbsales.com. He finally got a win in the Busch or Busch Light machine after getting most of his wins, it seems like, in the Jimmy John's machine. But be that as it may, 5 out of 12 is large.
You know, he didn't dominate the race. He had a very fast race car. And the first half of that race, the first two stages kind of went, we thought the guys were up front contending for who was going to be. Larson came from the back running the high line. It was really a nice job of the way him getting against the wall, seeing the Kyle Larson line, and everybody kind of grooved up.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
Transgrooved? Transgrooved
I
up.
like that.
That's
There you
it.
go. Word of the day.
So we got up there against the wall, and that's what Kansas has become. We talked about it last week. If you didn't watch last week's show, we talked about how the track went from a single lower grade, new repave, to getting up to the top, and that's what Kansas allows. But then the fast cars were able to go fast, as dumb as it sounds, and we saw all those guys stay up front. But then the last 3 quarters of that race through pit sequences really became exciting. We saw some amazing racing, unfortunately some horrific crashes, nobody got hurt. Guys that were going to take a chance and steal the victory with Truex going for 3 in a row. And then again, the fast car was able to, at Kansas. Yeah. And then he was able to, Harvick was able to get back to him and pass him there. It wasn't like he took that race. Kyle Larson led over 100 laps, got into an incident with Ryan Blaney. There was a lot of action compacted in the last portion of the race. But we come to see how strong those Stewart-Haas cars are, and we're going to talk to Aric Almirola later on as well.
Indeed we are, but isn't that the way a great season typically goes? When you guys won the championship, you can think of any other team that has had a great season. It's not enough to be good. You have to grind through some races and make it happen even when you're not at your best, and you have to get some breaks. That last caution, that last big wreck, Kevin Harvick was about that far from getting swept up in it.
You saw how sometimes luck is on your side. You create your own luck, and your season boils down to later on when you go down and you look at the stats of your 2018 season, you'll go back to Kansas and go, we were that close.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear from Kevin Harvick. 2 straight wins, and he has 5 on the season.
Struggling to get the car where we wanted it to be in the race. But we just kept grinding on it, and nobody complained, or I complain. I complain all the time, though. That's kind of my job, is to complain sometimes. But it's everybody just kept working on the car and really trying to make it better. And then it came down to a couple restarts, and we were able to get in front of the 42 there. I felt like that was a key moment in the race to get him back behind a couple cars, and felt like he had the fastest car tonight, and we were able to put him back in the pack a little bit, and then it came down to a decision, and it's like I told him, I'd always rather be going forward and trying to win than going backwards and lose. So that was a lot of fun, and we were able to miss the wreck, and that's when everything just kind of went our way in that situation, and then we were able to find somewhere on the racetrack that worked and run Martin down and win the race. So I haven't been that excited to win a race all year, but when you win them like that, those are the moments that that you drive the car and watch the car and work on the teams. Those are the moments that you live for right there. Those late lap winning passes and coming from behind and winning on a day when you don't feel like you had the fastest car, and that makes it a lot of fun.
Isn't that what a lot of guys say when they have successful seasons? Things kind of went our way. You have to be good to start off with, but you have to have some things go your way as well.
Yeah, to sit out there and lead every single race and dominate like we've seen in the past from Kevin Harvick, that's a lot of fun. But to dig and claw and grab yourself and the cars in front of you and be able to contend the last 2, 3, 4 laps is a lot more fun. And that's what Kevin was alluding to there.
Absolutely. Big show coming up for you on MRN Motorsports Monday. As Joey said, Aric Almirola is going to join us from the Stewart-Haas Racing Camp. They are off to a great start, having a good season. He's been very consistent. Another top 10 for him. On track, off tracks coming up. We'll look ahead to this weekend's racing action out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And you got to hear what Noah Gragson had to say after he won on Friday night out at Kansas. It's all ahead on Motorsports Monday. Stay right there.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Chris Crockett here with young members of our Toyota racing family.
Hi!
I heard you want to be drivers one day.
Yeah!
Want to be as fast as Hamlin?
Just like him!
Matt, what about you?
No thanks, I'm faster.
Faster than Hamlin?
Hamlin, Busch, Suarez, Jones, even Truex Jr. Did I say something funny?
No.
I can take them any day.
Okay.
Anytime.
Got it, kid.
Any track.
Uh-huh.
Any weather.
Oh, boy. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Kyle Petty here. My friends at Click & Close, the official mortgage provider of NASCAR, have stepped up this year to support Victory Junction through the fastest lap of the race program on NASCAR radio. So join our team. Go to clickandclose.com/NASCAR today to donate $43 or more and help us give the gift of camp to children with serious medical conditions. That's clickandclose.com/NASCAR and just look for the Victory Junction logo. Thanks to Click & Close and NASCAR Radio for their support this season.
Harvick into turn one, goes to the top of the racetrack. Truex piles it in down low, trying to make one last run, but it's Kevin Harvick off the top of turn two. Kevin Harvick will lead by 1 car length. He'll lead by 2 car lengths. One final shot for Truex. Harvick goes to the top in 3. Truex goes to the bottom. They race for the win off the corner.
Exiting turn number 4, Kevin Harvick, checkered flag in the air, and for the 5th time this year, Kevin Harvick wins in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, and Alex Hayden with the call on the Motor Racing Network Saturday night. That's how it sounded as Kevin Harvick goes to victory lane for the 5th time this season, and what a race it was for him when he admitted that he wasn't at his best, but still got the victory in that race. Joey, let's talk a little on track, off track, the portion of the program where we discuss some things that are going well in the sport and some things that maybe aren't going quite so well. Let's start with the positive. What's on track for you?
Had a great, we're going to hear the interview later on, Noah Gragson, I say it correctly now, won the race. And the guys that he beat were Stuart Friesen, John Hunter Nemechek, Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, Cody Coughlin, Grant Enfinger, Brandon Jones, Justin Haley. It's a good list of drivers.
Some good racers.
It's a good group of guys that you can pump your chest up and say, I won. He also beat Kyle Busch.
He did, and Bubba Wallace, among others.
Exactly. 2 Cup drivers that are full-time in the Cup Series, that are over in the Truck Series. He beat both of them. The reason that's important is we have so many arguments of why are the Cup guys ruining the series running in lower divisions. Noah Gragson has a higher chest and a higher elevation of how he feels about his team's performance, not based on beating Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter. It's about beating the Kyle Busches of the world, because the minute he gets entered into that series and that race, everybody expects Kyle to win. Noah said, not this time. I was better than you. I was better than a lot of other drivers, but the top of the mountain where Kyle Busch stands, where he's getting ready, and he will probably become the most winningest driver in the Truck Series history.
He's right there. He's
gonna
within
pass,
1, I think. Yeah.
He's going to tie and pass Ron Hornaday very soon, which will happen because Ron's not driving.
Right.
So it's a really good example. When you beat him as a team, you simply put a little etch on your belt differently than if you beat past champions like Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton. It's that simple. That's why it's important for the Cup guys to come back and run. Not only do they bring money to the sport, but it also elevates your team's performance, and you can stand up and cheer, yeah, I beat Kyle Busch.
Look, I get the sentiment from fans that they don't necessarily want Cup guys in the field when they see Xfinity or truck races, but every driver, without fail, all the drivers we've had on over the past 5-6 years have said, yes, we want to race against those guys. I get the logic of it, I really do, but I think you're right. It does give those guys an opportunity to say, I beat the best today.
Yep.
And as an aside, Noah Gragson, earlier this year when he got the opportunity to run some Xfinity Series races because the Dash for Cash was coming up and Cup guys were ineligible, Kyle Busch said at the time, I hope he goes over there and gets some ideas that he can then bring back to the truck racing, and that may make him better. He doesn't want him to get stagnant only running the truck.
Right.
He had a really good run in the Xfinity Series. At Dover, remember, he dives underneath Johnny Sauter, going for the win, doesn't quite get it, winds up spinning himself out. But I think that's the kind of thing fans want to see. And now it looks to me, anyway, on the surface, like he's progressing on the truck side as well. Maybe he is bringing some things back to the truck series.
Yeah, the young drivers, and again, we've said it for a number of years here on the show, and you can go back and listen to all your podcasts, and we can confirm that I was right, and you've said the same thing. When the young drivers are given opportunities like a Noah Gragson has given and has been offered those opportunities, and they elevate themselves, they're around the sport for a while. We've seen the Christopher Bells, we've seen Noah Gregsons, we've seen Ryan Preece, who essentially mortgaged his life to get an opportunity. And they've given very small opportunities and making big results, and they're around for a while.
All right, let's move on to off track now, because I've got one that has been kind of festering for a week or more, as we've heard.
Get that looked at. They have doctors for that.
I know they do. There's pills for that.
Yes.
A lot of people, when we heard the news come out, various reports, I think Reuters had the first one about the potential sale of NASCAR. They said the France family is exploring the idea, not that anything's a done deal, of a potential sale of NASCAR.
That means
people went nuts.
Yeah,
people lost their minds. They said, oh, this shows the sport is doom and gloom. Everything's going bad. But look at it this way. And Kevin Harvick said this very thing Friday during his media availability. It's an opportunity for someone to come in and do something a little bit different. Try some things that maybe haven't been tried in the past. Look at what happened, and this is where I'm going with this. Look at what happened when the Formula One series was for sale. A media company bought it because they want eyeballs and ears on that sport that they control. Not that they have to get into a bidding war to show to get that programming. A lot of the media companies right now are flush with cash. They are looking for properties that they own, they control, they can have their say, their stamp on what they want this sport to be. I think that might be, if it's a sale, if it's a potential sale that they're exploring the possibilities, that's the thing that you look forward to, is somebody who's going to give this a fresh look, a different take. And it's not necessarily, oh my gosh, we got to get out, we got to flee for the hills. That's not what's going on here. Any business at any time can sell, and if they think the timing is right, the money is right, everything is right, then it makes sense, then do it.
Well, it makes sense because you have somebody that wants to sell, you have another partner that wants to buy, and it's not like we're creating a garage sale.
Yeah.
You know, hey, NASCAR sold. Oh, good. Where can I buy my memorabilia because it'll be gone in another year, and that's not the case. So
it's not a criticism of the France family or anything like that, or the current management of NASCAR.
By the way,
yeah,
we just bought ARCA.
Right.
And oh, by the way, our sponsorship for the Truck Series just re-upped for several more years.
Right. And doesn't that mean then that if a big company comes in and buys this sport, how attractive is it that they would have relative control over stock car racing overall in the whole United States?
Yeah,
I think that's something that's a big value.
Not that I want the France family to give it up.
Right, that's not the point.
Right, but if they want to give it up and you have a company that wants to buy it, it's a win-win.
Right.
It's not a fire sale that we're having to get out while the ship's on fire.
And if the money's not right, then they can always say, nope, we'll just keep it and keep digging like we have been for 50 years, and everything stays like it was. So for me, that the panic about it is what's off track for me. I think it's an opportunity, as Kevin Harvick said. Businesses don't buy other businesses to make them worse. They buy them because they think there's value and they can make money.
Well, I tweeted last week when it came out, speculation drives me crazy because the speculation, for the most part, is a negative-driven idea behind lack of facts and knowledge on how businesses work. Most of the time when you see mergers and acquisitions take place, the people that acquired that company, they wanted it. and that allows them for new, fresh ideas, new money being pumped in, and most of the time you do see a rise in that. So that's a good call for them.
All right, we got to take a quick break here on MRN Motorsports Monday. Aric Almirola is going to join us on the other side of the break, but don't forget, coming up at Daytona Memorial Day weekend, it's the Country 500. This is a big deal in terms of country music. Listen to this. Chris Stapleton, Dierks Bentley, Sugarland, Billy Currington, Toby Keith, and a lot more are going to be at Daytona Memorial Day weekend, May 25th through the 27th. You can check out the ticket packages now at country500.com. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're in that area looking for a good time, check that out. It's going to be fun.
Yep, that sounds like a good time. I wish I was off that weekend.
All right, take a break here. You're off the next 2 weeks. We're in Charlotte.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm
next
not
2
doing
weeks.
it.
We forgot about
next
that.
2 weeks.
We'll be right back with Aric Almirola.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo! I want that onion to bloom and it get in my feathers like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice. And I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse. That's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Are you a serious diecast collector? Do you have a favorite driver? Are you looking for a gift for a race fan? No matter what the question, the answer is always PlanBSales.com. Plan B has all the latest in diecast from Lionel and apparel, artwork, and other items for your favorite driver in NASCAR or other forms of racing. Go to PlanBSales.com, key your driver's name in the handy search window, and look at all the options. Your one stop for diecast and other motorsports collectibles is PlanBSales.com.
I'm Kevin Harvick, and it's another Bloomin' Monday. Ask for your free Bloomin' Onion tonight at Outback Steakhouse. Now it's back to Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Top 10 finish by Kevin Harvick means it's Bloomin' Monday at Outback Steakhouse. Go by and tell him, hey, Kevin Harvick did it again. Give you that free Bloomin' Onion. Tell him Joey Meyer sent you, and he'll wave his little Joey around at you. That's boy, that was really bad.
I might even carry my little Joey with me wherever I go. Yeah.
But his teammate is joining us on the guest line now, the driver of the Smithfield Prime Ford at Stewart-Haas Racing, coming off his 5th top 10 finish of the season. This time it was at Kansas Speedway on Saturday night. Aric Almirola is on the guest line. Aric, welcome to the program. Congratulations, man. Going to go get a Bloomin' Onion tonight?
Good morning, fellas. Yeah, we may have to stop by Outback. I mean, it's hard to turn down a free Bloomin' Onion.
And I heard Steve Post talking to you over the weekend during either practice or qualifying coverage, talking about the big old pork chop you had on the side of your car there. I think he was wishing it was scratch and sniff. That thing looks sweet.
Yes, that was pretty cool to have Smithfield Prime on the car and just kind of take that opportunity to represent, one of Smithfield's brands there with their prime cuts of pork. And I believe they actually sell Smithfield Prime for their pork chops at Outback. So you can go get you a free Bloomin' Onion and get you a pork chop.
That's a win-win right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Aric, 2018 brought a lot of new changes for you, a new team, a new type of car, a new body, and kind of all kinds of new things. But you also joined up with Johnny Klossmeyer, kind of a reunion of sorts. He's been around the garage, and you guys have been associated together in the past at DEI. What's been the biggest challenge so far for 2018? We can talk about the good, and we'll mention them just a little bit. Well, what's been the biggest challenge for you and Johnny as we get a third of the way through this 2018 season?
I feel like we've talked about this, going into the season and for these first, 11, 12 weeks here. The biggest challenge is just Johnny and I building a notebook together. Like on a personal level, we already have a relationship, but on a crew chief driver level, I mean, we're 12 weeks into building that relationship. And so, Johnny's a brand new crew chief and doesn't have a ton of, experience from that side of as far as building, notebook and building, sort of that gut feeling on, how to, prepare for practice, the race, and especially with me as the driver. We're brand new at this together. So just building that confidence in each other and that ability to say, hey, remember we did this last time at this track, and that was bad going into the race. Or hey, remember, between practices last time we did this, and it really helped our car, or whatever. All of those things take time and experience. And, I think you see that across the board in the garage area, but we see it internally as well. You look at how well Kevin Harvick and Rodney are running here, and they've been doing this together for going on 5 years now. And you look at Clint and Booga, and their second year of working together, and they're producing a lot more results this year. So, I think for Johnny and I is, our biggest challenge is to continue to build that notebook and that relationship, and at the same time, try not to get too greedy and just keep our nose to the grindstone and sort of do our thing and, focus on our program and, take the competitive race cars that we're getting every week and try and make the most of them.
Last year in 2017, your average finishes were just inside the top 20. This year, if we remove the DNF at Texas, you're solidly in a top 10 finishing average, and that's been a heck of an upgrade. You just talked about the relationship that you and Johnny are building. Is there one thing at every little track you feel like is a building block, or is there a lot of little things that you're going to add together? Is it one thing or a lot of little things that are going to catapult you into those top fives and those victories?
I think it's a lot of little things. From what I see so far in the first 12 weeks here, that there's just some details that we've got to do better. We've got to clean up. I've got to do better on restarts. We've got to do better on track position, and that starts on Friday. We've got to qualify better on Fridays. This weekend was the first weekend where we've qualified up front, and it just makes the whole weekend go more smoothly. When you qualify up front, you start the race up front, you get a chance to tune and work on your car and clean air, and if you can come down pit road and execute on pit road and you keep your car up front, it just makes the whole race go a lot more smoothly, and then it puts you in better position all night to have a better finish. So I think that's the biggest thing we've got to do is just continue to work on our execution throughout the weekend, starting from unloading to qualifying and then going through the practices. And again, I think that's just going to come with time and experience, and the more that we start to build a notebook and we start to identify trends of what I'm looking for in the race car and how we make speed together, and how to offset that compared to our teammates, because we all have the same product, we all have the same cars, and our cars are obviously very fast, but then when you look across the board at all of our setups, they're all a little bit different here and there, but yet they're all still fast. So we've just got to continue to identify what it is that I'm looking for out of the race car to be able to go fast.
Another solid run at Kansas, as we mentioned, Aric, but let's look ahead, going to Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend, and a brand new package, an aero package, similar to what the Xfinity cars used at Indianapolis last year. Just at a glance, I know you haven't had a chance to run it yet, but what do you think about that idea of the restrictor plate on the bank track and the aero package that the Xfinity cars used racing at Charlotte this weekend?
I have no idea what to expect. Absolutely zero. I'm kind of going into it very open-minded, ready to accept the challenge ahead and try and make the most of it. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a race and there's going to be a winner. And whatever the rules package is, I just hope that we do a good job of maximizing, our effort, and hopefully we can come out on top. But I think it'll be interesting for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes and, what kind of a race we can put on.
Last year in 2017, you had the opportunity to run a couple of races outside the Monster Energy Cup Series, maybe in the Xfinity Series or even a truck. Any plans like that for 2018?
Well, I ran Daytona in February in the 98 car, and we had a great run down there. And Bill and Lori Denbesti and Fred Biaggi have joined Stewart-Haas Racing with their Xfinity program, and so that's been a lot of fun to watch them and their team kind of transition over. and you know, to watch them, you know, get excited about their race car on the racetrack every weekend now, and if they feel like they've got a shot to win, and we certainly did in Daytona in February, and they were able to go to victory lane with Harvick in Atlanta. And I think I'm going to get a chance to run a few more races. I think Daytona in July is one that we're signed up for, and just trying to identify and look at some of the other races that I can do. There, you know, with the rules now, it's limited. You can't run when there's a Dash for Cash race. You can't run once the playoffs start for them. There's some races here in the summer coming up that are, you know, not at the same racetrack where you know, the Xfinity cars are in Iowa when we're somewhere else or whatever. So I think those ones we won't do, and then there's some we can't do. So just trying to look at the schedule, and we're going to try and pick out a couple more that make sense for us. But I think Daytona in July is the only one we have for sure, and then we're looking at maybe 2 more to add to the schedule.
All right, well, we'll look forward to catching you on track in all those, and this weekend out at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race. Aric, congratulations on a strong, consistent start to the season, and look forward to continued success for you and the team.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on. Y'all behave, all right?
No, that's out of the question. We can't do that. Thanks for your time, man.
All right, see you guys.
Aric Almirola, a really strong start. They're 11th in the standings right now. You mentioned the one DNF, or they would be solidly in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, so it's a big change when he's gone to other race teams, when he left DEI after strong performances, and other race teams kind of wandered around. He said when he got hired at Stewart-Haas, it was going to be his opportunity to show the world that he can drive a race car at a competitive level consistently. And that's the one thing that Aric has struggled with over the years. And it's proved by going to a race team that with Harvick and Boyer winning those races, here he is solidly in the top 10.
And Kurt Busch is right there
exactly
as well.
Right. And so this is exactly the fresh start he's been looking for. And let's not forget, first-year crew chief. Well, you know, that's a big deal.
Here's a trivia question for you. Johnny Klausmeier, do you know he has a Cup win? A couple years ago, Pocono got rained out. We ran it on a Monday.
Yep.
Tony Gibson was suspended. Johnny Klausmeier filled in and won at Pocono with Kurt Busch. There you go.
Small world.
That's research right there, baby.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another time out on Motorsports Monday. We'll look ahead at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and you got to hear this from Noah Gragson. It's all ahead. Stick around.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So cold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Chris Crockett here with young members of our Toyota racing family.
Hi.
I heard you want to be drivers one day.
Yeah.
Want to be as fast as Hamlin?
Just like him.
Matt, what about you?
No thanks. I'm faster.
Faster than Hamlin?
Hamlin, Busch, Suarez, Jones, even Truex Jr. Did I say something funny?
No.
I can take them any day.
Okay.
Anytime.
Got it, kid.
Any track. Any weather.
Oh, boy. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at ToyotaRacing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
What a dominating performance for Noah Gragson, overcoming adversity off turn 2 for the final time.
1 week ago, he gave one away, or the shot at winning one away. That's not going to happen tonight. Smoothly into turn number 3. Smoothly off from turn number 4 for Noah Gragson.
Noah Gragson, the 19-year-old out of Las Vegas, Nevada, will see the checkered flag, and Noah Gragson wins the 37 Kind Days 250 at Kansas Speedway.
I actually did get pretty close. So I climbed up it, and I was like sitting up there, and I was really trying to just I had my visor open. I was trying to take my time, just let everything sink in, and probably stayed up there a little longer than I should have. But was pumping up the crowd. The fans were awesome tonight. They were all cheering for me and everything, and I hope we put on a really good show there at the end. But I climbed down, and I'm like, this is not happening again. No way, no way. And so I got close to puking, but it almost got there, like halfway up, and I'm like, I'm not, and then I held it in. So that's a step in the right direction for me. We're making gains all over, on the racetrack, off the racetrack with puking, and hopefully I can get maybe just a quarter of the way up, and then the next time an eighth of the way up, and then maybe not up at all. So just trying to keep it down. It's all I didn't eat much today. I drank a lot of water under the caution, so that's what I think it is. It's just water that would come up.
He cracks me up by showing his personality there, and that was the best puke breakdown I think I've ever heard on this show, ever.
No, and I got nothing to add.
Maybe the only one, but it's the best one.
I've got nothing to add because it was
that
hilarious.
was fantastic.
Yes.
Noah Gregson wins, and he pulls to second place in the Truck Series, 35 points behind Johnny Sauter. Grant Enfinger up to third now in the standings, and then Brett Moffitt and Ben Rhodes tied for the fourth spot. The Trucks back in action this Friday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. North Carolina Education Lottery 200. That comes your way 8 o'clock Friday night on the Motor Racing Network. Speaking of Charlotte, we've got a whole new rules package coming up this weekend. What can we expect? Does anybody know what to expect?
In theory, if you look at Daytona and you look at Talladega and you see 2, 3, 4 wide packs driving around essentially at the same speed all together, that's what we're going to see at Charlotte.
Where they can't really get away from each other, and it's going to be about a draft?
In theory, yes. We've taken a close to a 900 horsepower engine, and we're going to give them about 450, which is what our super late models have. We're going to put a extremely high drag package on the nose and on the tail. Big honking splitter, spoiler, big honking air ducts, big drag like a big parachute. These cars are going to run around wide open. We only have to go 30 laps. The tires are going to be fine. And it's going to be nobody can get away from anybody. Who's going to handle a little bit better might be able to creep away. But the guy creeping away is going to drag the guys behind him. That's in theory.
All right.
There has been no practical application on these cars on this kind of track yet. So we'll find out. Everybody has an idea, but that's the theory. When Bruton Smith saw Daytona earlier in the year, he said, I want my all-star race to look like that, and this is the package that created. So we'll see. If we can throw a blanket over the entire field, that'll be impressive, especially for Charlotte Motor Speedway.
It will indeed. All right, there's the spotter breakdown. Let's hear from some drivers now. The guys from JTG Doherty Racing give us their take on what we can look for at Charlotte this weekend. Let's talk Charlotte next. You go there this time, and it'll be completely different one weekend to the next. The All-Star Race, the package that they use, similar to what the Xfinity cars had at Indy. What do you think about that as a concept? Is it something that you have a feel for, or we won't know till we try it?
I don't know if I think we're going to have to try it and see where it goes. I know the Xfinity cars were able to use it at Indy, and I think as far as statistics go, I don't remember the race, but I know statistically they said it was a good race. A lot of green flag passing, a lot of movement in the field, and I think that's what they're after. Try and create something different for the All-Star race instead of in a way the same race 2 weeks in a row. So I think it's a good attempt to try something different. We'll see how it works out here. We'll know soon enough. We try and run what we could imagine it being in the sim. When you're one car out there by yourself, there's no way to get a good feel.
But I think hopefully, like Indy did for the Xfinity race, it puts on a good race. The All-Star race hasn't been a lot of fun to watch over the last couple of years, but I think for us the speeds are going to be so slow. It's just going to be so boring. But if it puts on a good race for the fans there and looks good on TV, that's what we're trying to do. So it's something that we need to try. But for a team like ours, it's definitely difficult because you basically destroy 2 race cars for a month, and then you have to put it back, and those cars are out of commission. So we'll see, but it's something different.
All right, so here's the question I have.
AJ's excited.
Well, he talks about the slower speeds, and I get it from the driver's seat. They will definitely feel and notice that speed.
Yes.
But the fan with their eyeballs from the stands, will they notice 15 or 20 miles an hour difference?
Yes, because the trucks are going to go faster than the Cup cars. So you have a comparison of what's going on. You're going to have cars that are normally going over 190 to 195, close to 200 miles an hour. The goal
at their top speed, not the average lap.
Correct. Yeah. When you're driving down the center, we talk about corner entry speeds or corner center speeds. That's the fastest portion of our track. We're talking about keeping them down to 170 miles an hour. So yeah, you're going to notice it. The engine sounds are going to be different. The RPM levels are going to be lower. It's going to be noticeable. But the biggest thing you're going to notice, in theory, is 40 cars sitting on top of each other going around a mile and a half,
and
which we haven't seen.
The hope is that it won't be so aero dependent that they can pull out and make moves like we saw the Xfinity cars do at Indy. The difference is that's a flat track. This is a bank track.
This was a engineered, driven design. We'll see.
Right. That's all we can say. We will see. Big week coming up on MRN for you. Don't forget, Tuesday night, Mike Bagley has NASCAR Live. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Friday night, as we mentioned, the Camping World Truck Series, North Carolina Education Lottery 200. That comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Saturday, the Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race. Our coverage comes your way at 5:30 Eastern Time on Saturday night. And don't forget, Kyle Busch won both of these events 1 year ago. Can we see that again? We'll see.
You know, it's interesting. $1 million makes it fun.
It does. See you next week on Motorsports Monday.